Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ask the Coach Show, episode 67. This is where we answer your table tennis questions. Today, we're going to talk about Ovtcharov's unique serve, how to improve your forehand defense, and how to create a champion table tennis player. As always, Super Coach Alois Rosario is here with me to answer your questions. Welcome, Alois.
Thanks, Jeff, and hopefully we'll get some good answers out today and give you PingSkillers some tips.
Yes, indeed. So is the video switching for you now, Alois?
It is, yeah, all good. Thank you.
That's great. Excellent to hear. Yeah, I'm having a few late nights, Alois. A lot of sport on at this time. I was up watching the tennis last night, seeing Andy Murray take out Thomas Berdych. So some good matches. I'm looking forward to the semi-final tonight between Wawrinka and the Joker.
Yeah. So interesting to watch. Interesting to watch the Murray match. I must admit, I fell asleep in the fourth set a bit, but yeah, interesting to see tactically what Murray was doing. You know, as soon as he went wide into Berdych's backhand, he seemed to dominate the point from there on. So it was interesting to see how the points were playing out, and he found a tactic that worked really well. You know, finding a way to get wide into Berdych's backhand, and as soon as Berdych was struggling out there, then after that Murray was able to dominate the rally. So yeah, interesting to watch.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I think tennis is interesting in the fact that their shots now have so much topspin on it compared with like 10 years ago. It kind of reminds me of table tennis in some ways.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, they're really using a lot of topspin now, aren't they? I mean, Nadal is the classic topspin player. He the amount of topspin he generates, and he's also got a very table tennis forehand type of style, hasn't he? You know, sort of finishing up here with the forehand, especially. So yeah, interesting to see the relationships between the two games.
Yes. So let's move on to the PingSkills question from yesterday, Alois, which was who is the most inspirational player you've ever seen?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I just came back from the Athletes with Disability National Championships, and I have to say, you know, there's a lot of players there that really inspire me. And I was having a think about it yesterday. You know, and it's probably not even for the things that they do, but it's just the fact that they get on with playing, get on with life, get on with, you know, doing things. You know, if you see them in the street, I mean, you'd think, God, look at that guy. You know, he can hardly walk, and these guys are out there playing table tennis, and it's not, and they don't you know, blink. They don't even think about it or give it a consideration. They're just out there trying to improve their forehands and backhands and improve their games, and yeah, very inspirational to me.
Excellent. That's good answer there, Alois. I like that a lot. So the PingSkills question for today is, how many training sessions did you do last week? So as always, jump on, leave a comment, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. And an easy way to leave a comment is visit pingskills.com, click on the blog link, and then you'll find this show where you can add a comment. Alrighty. So Brock has jumped on, and using the Q&A app on the Google Hangout has asked a question. He asked one yesterday about tips for beating a tall player, and we gave him a few tips, Alois, about playing into the middle. But he said today, hey, PingSkills, your tips for the tall players didn't work on this guy. He's unbeatable. He just I smash, loop, chop, but it doesn't work. Please, do you have any other tips?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, like there's certain levels. You know, like if you're playing a player that's a lot better than you, it's good to have those tactics in place. But you know, sometimes they might just be up here and you're down there. So it's a matter of then thinking about, okay, I need to just improve my game more. I need to improve the level of my strokes so that I can start to make some inroads into tactically with that player. You know, like for example, yesterday with Murray. If I was playing Burditch, it wouldn't matter how much I went wide into his backhand. My strokes just wouldn't be effective enough to stop him. I mean, he'd just go over there and crack a backhand anyway, because I just wouldn't have the ability or the speed or the power to dominate his backhand like Murray did. So there are levels as well. You know, you need to think about, okay, yesterday we talked about playing into his middle and playing good top spins into his middle. So I think, you know, go back, work on your top spin, work on your speed, work on your technique, and see if you can get that better, so that when you then play into his middle, then that becomes a bit more effective as well.
Okay, great answer. All right, so yeah, Brock, see if you can get out on the table and start practicing those forehand top spins and see if you can improve them, maybe get some more spin on it, some more speed on it, and then see if you can start using those tactics to trouble this really good player. Okay, next question is from Earl Alois, who says, in my defense, she says, my defense is dominant on my backhand. So when the attacker attacks, I automatically switch to the backhand. I'm weaker on the forehand. Do you have any tips?
Yeah, so I think, you know, in training, try to set some guidelines for yourself, that if the ball comes over onto this side of the table, so you could even use the table as a guide. So if the ball comes to the right of the middle line, that you have to use your forehand. If the ball comes on the left of the middle line, you have to use your backhand. So training is where that starts. And just setting some guidelines for yourself. If you want to play more forehands, then set a line on the table and utilize your forehand more. Sometimes when a lot of players talk about, you know, my backhand's dominant or my forehand's dominant, it can be a little bit just the way you set up, or the way that you're thinking about it. If you're always thinking that your backhand's dominant, then you'll just keep going across and playing backhands from everywhere on the table. If you start to think, okay, I need to improve my forehand, I need to utilize it more, then you'll start to utilize the forehand as well. Also think about your setup. So if you're turned this way to the table, then you'll tend to use your backhand a little bit more. If you're square, or if you're a little bit this way, or, you know, if you turn all the way around this way, then you're going to use your forehand more. So just think about the positioning of your feet as well, to make sure that you're in a good position to be able to play both backhand and forehand with the defense.
Yeah, really good tips there, Alice. I particularly like the mindset, you know, thinking, I need to improve my forehand, so that way you start working on it more rather than continuously playing the backhand. Now, in a very related question, Nicholas has asked, he says, I'm having trouble chopping the ball with my forehand in a match. Where it goes too far or too high, I just miss the ball. Do you have any suggestions as to how I can fix this?
Yeah, so Nicholas, yes. So firstly, think about, you know, your position at the table to be able to play your forehand better. But so with the actual stroke, with the forehand chop, it's a little bit more awkward, especially if you're close to the table. Make sure you've got a nice relaxed hand, because that will help you to utilize or change the angle of your racket better. If your hand's very stiff, then this ball here becomes very, very difficult on the forehand push or the forehand chop. So relax your hand and make sure that you're turning to play that forehand defense or the forehand push as well. If the ball's going up too high, it can be a couple of things. One is you could have your bat maybe too flat or too open, and when they're getting more topspin. So try to brush underneath the ball a little bit more. If you brush underneath the ball, then you'll start to send the ball more directly forward. If you have an open racket and just tap the ball will tend to go high. But if you have an open racket and brush the ball, then the ball will tend to have the backspin and go directly towards the other person and a little bit lower over the net as well. So yeah, so brushing the ball can really help there.
Yeah, so I guess, Alois, with all these strokes, when you're first learning them, the important thing is repetition. So just practice them often as you can, and then the better you get in practice, then that will eventually transfer into the match. So is it good for them just to get someone to, loop to them and just practice chopping over and over for 10 minutes or something like that?
Yes, it certainly is. So if you've got someone strong enough that can topspin to you consistently, then yeah, get them to do that and practice your forehand as much as you can. But if you haven't got someone that can topspin consistently to your chop, multi-ball's a great way of practicing your chopping. So get someone to stand with the box of balls close to the net and just hit them out with some really good topspin at you to the forehand side and just start to practice that stroke a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think some people might be daunted by that prospect of feeding multi-ball, but it's really just a skill that you can learn with a bit of practice, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Multi-ball is a fairly simple skill that you can learn and you can teach a lot of players, even if they're not very skilled at table tennis. So yeah, multi-ball is a great way, and we've got some good tips on our site in the multi-ball section for that as well.
Cool. All right, and I'll leave some notes in the show notes about how to look at those multi-ball videos. So yeah, Nicholas, hopefully that helps you out with your forehand chop. I'll leave a link also to the forehand chop video, so you can just make sure you've got the correct start and finish positions and you've got all the basics right. But then it's a matter of just getting out on the table and practicing it over and over and over, and you'll get better at it. So good luck, Nicholas. Okay, now Young has asked a question. He says, my son is just 10 years old and quite interested in learning table tennis, and his dream is of becoming a world champ. He is prepared to do anything to be a master and hold the trophy. My full support is with him. Should I buy a table for him, or is 10 years too young?
Yeah, so firstly, 10 years isn't too young. 10 years is a good time to start and to learn the game. So if you have the ability to buy him a table, definitely do it. The more he can hit the ball, the more he can play, the better he's going to get. So that's the first thing. The second thing is make sure, and this is really important, that you don't push him too much at this stage. Make sure that he's the one that is really dragging you out onto the table and wanting to play more, because the more you push and the more you have those aspirations for him, the worse it's going to get. And I've seen it over and over and over with parents and young kids. So just make sure that that he's the one that's pushing you to go out and do the practice and have those dreams of being world champion and all those sorts of things. So really important point for parents, particularly with their kids at that age. So let him enjoy the game, let him play as much as he can, let him practice, and having a table at home would certainly help that, because it's an easy way then to go out and practice and do some skills.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic, isn't it, Alois? I mean, if you look at some famous tennis players, you see their parents have really pushed them, like, Agassi and the Williams sisters, and they've kind of built these champions. So are they good examples to follow?
Well, if you read Agassi's book, no. There's parents and pushing, really doesn't work. There are the exceptions, and there are some of these cases where players end up being fantastic players and all that sort of stuff. But for every one of those stories, there's another 100 kids probably another 1,000 kids that end up hating the game and never playing again. So yeah, just don't do it.
Okay, good tips. All right, so make sure it's your kid that's really got the dream and the passion and the fire, And, you know, it's great for kids to have those dreams of becoming world champions. So, yeah, good luck with your son and his table tennis. Hopefully he keeps enjoying it for many years to come. Thanks for the question, Young. Very interesting one. All right, let's go on to Ovtcharov serve. Di has asked a question. He says, please explain how Ovtcharov does his serve and why.
The why is a really good question, isn't it? So Ovtcharov has a ridiculous backhand serve. I mean, it is a fantastic serve, and he really has found a way to incorporate it into his game and to utilize it so well. So basically, he starts really low down here somewhere, basically, to do his serve, and really right around, and then spins all the way around when he actually executes his serve. It works for him, you know, like it's something that he's obviously grown up with, something that he has developed over a lot of time, and he now has the pattern in his mind of what happens after he does that serve. So he's down really low, he gets there, he does his backhand serve, and he finds a good position then to play a rally really quickly. So that's why, I mean, the reason is that he has developed over time. He's developed that serve over time, and it fits comfortably into his game. It fits comfortably into him being able to move into the next ball to be able to play the rally well. So yeah, it's a really interesting serve. We've done a little bit of a video on it previously. So I think if you go to that link, and Jeff will put that up on the site for us. If you go to that link, you'll see us demonstrating the serve and a few explanations about it as well.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? I guess the key with serving, to have an effective serve, is kind of variation. And to have that variation, you also need to have a serve that you can generate lots of spin on. And so even though it's a weird action, I guess the important thing is, in the end, can you get the bat moving fast and get a fast brushing contact on the serve to generate that spin?
Yeah, definitely. And the other really critical thing as well of being able to transition into the next ball. So if you watch all the better players, we did a bit of a analysis on it. Watch the transition of the best players from their serve to the next ball. You know, Zheng Jike does his serve and he jumps into position and he's ready for that next ball straight away. So find a serve that you find gets you into a good position for you to play a rally well.
Excellent. All right, thanks for the question, Di. All right, now Brock has asked another question. Alois, he says, how can I improve my forehand topspin? When I do it, it always hits the net. Am I missing something?
Yeah, so the forehand topspin, and one of the real keys for the forehand topspin for me is the finish position. So if you get your finish position right, you'll start to get a good shape on the ball, good topspin, and the ball will start going onto the table. If the ball's always going into the net, then maybe you need to just open the angle of your racket slightly. So it's not like opening it from here to here, it's just opening it from there to there or from there to there to make the difference to get the ball over the net. So experiment with that, but firstly make sure you've got the shape of your stroke correct and the shape of the ball going over the net correct with that top spin.
Okay, so if you get that right, you're going to get more top spin on the ball, which is going to make it dip and make it more consistent.
Yes, exactly. And you know, it's such an important stroke. It's worth getting right.
Okay, excellent. That sounds good. I was going to say something else about that, but I've completely forgotten what I was going to say, Alois. So I guess
that's all right. You're getting old, Jeff. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think so. It happens to all of us. Indeed. All right. Well, good luck with that, Brock. Keep practicing that forehand topspin, and hopefully you'll get better. It was going to be a really good point, though, Alois. I can't remember what it was, but I thought that's a great point.
Yes, I was talking to someone about Alzheimer's the other day, so I'll.
Thank you. Well, all right, that wraps up the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure you check out pingskills.com and sign up for our free newsletter to get lots of table tennis tips. And I hope everyone has a great weekend. We will be back next week with more shows. So thank you, everyone, and thank you, Alois.
Thanks, Jeff, and have a great day, PingSkillers. Have a great weekend, and definitely get yourself out there on the table this weekend.
Excellent. All right, see you guys. Bye.